we know, so things are not finalized, but we have always announced that we are prepared to help resolve the Syrian crisis. And this is the basic policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran that is still there. And we will support any kind of political efforts, and we have also announced that we accept no preconditions in order to take part in the Geneva II conference or such meetings. As for the comments of the leader of the Islamic Revolution, well, the statements made by the leader of the Islamic Revolution, they are all serve as a source of reference to deal with domestic issues. The negotiators, by relying on the guidelines of the Islamic Revolution leader and by popular support, they will push ahead strongly what they have already started. And we do hope that they, relying on the domestic consensus and also the abidance of all the strata of society by the leaders' comments, hopefully the negotiations will come to a conclusion that would see the basic rights of Iranians in order to have a peaceful nuclear energy. They will all come to fruition. I had a question regarding P5+1. The future talks. I want to see if what kind of speculation do you have of its results, and what are your expectations? Well, what's for sure is that we do not want to make any predictions of the negotiations, but what's noteworthy is that Iran, based on political will, has seriously entered the negotiations. The proposal that we have offered means to help the sides to leave the cul-de-sac that we're facing now. This is based on realities, and the ground is realistic, and it's based on a win-win game. This is what our proposal is based upon, and so we expect that with a political resolution and realistically the sides will be negotiating with us. Naturally, who will be conducting the negotiations at the negotiating table? We hope that Thursday and Friday this political resolve could be seen more than a change of tone and language, and will assume more practical shape. From Johnson at newspaper. Mr. Largen's visit had a visit to China. There are some discussions regarding that money that belongs to Iran, and if you could speak louder, please. The Iranian money that remains in China, they're not returning that money to Iran because of sanctions. Looks like some people from China are going to come to Iran and establish some companies and try to start operating so that the money goes back to Iran that way. Now, there are some Chinese companies in Iran, but regarding because of inefficiency, they were expelled. My question is now, is this decision made in coordination with the government? I mean, for China, have we set any conditions for China at what quality the job should be conducted? Well, the Islamic Republic of Iran and the People's Republic of China, they have very good relations and they have cooperation on all sides. So both countries are making attempts so that the relations would go ahead, would not be influenced by any third party. It would just go on uninfluenced. So what was mentioned in the news, given the blocking of our assets, this is not exactly true. At the same time, regulating economic and business activities is what we are doing. Economic activities by efforts of both sides and by the right understanding of the possibilities and the risks that we would be facing in our economic activities. So the atmosphere for cooperation and talks will hopefully go on. And the trip that was made was within the same efforts. Actually, coordination was made, and there has been no problem regarding coordination with the government. At the same time, because of the efforts by third parties, they want to see these relations to face problems in some areas. So the vigilance of both sides and regular and orderly efforts, organized efforts of both sides should continue for promotion of economic and business activities. We have no special concern, and everything is being conducted based on full coordination and on a set of policies. Hopefully, they will be immune from interference. From Afkham newspaper. Recently, two French reporters have been kidnapped in France, and they were killed in Mali. Now, among the reporters around the world, this has disconcerted them. Has the Iranian Foreign Ministry, in terms of solidarity and sympathy for the... Have you made any protests regarding the safety and security of reporters elsewhere in the world? Have you made any statements or issued any letters? And we've also heard that the British Embassy at the level of will not resume operating at the level of Chargé d'Affaires. Now, the third point is that in the past 4 years, the Foreign Ministry has complained to the judiciary for extradition of the Qulahag Garden. And still, it's gotten nowhere, or maybe the judiciary has not done its job. I want to see if you have any information so that our people and the media would hear about them, learn about them more. Now, regarding the last part of your question, it should be in coordination, full coordination with the judiciary and the Foreign Ministry. This is what has been going on between the two bodies, and we are pursuing the case. Now, as for your second question, we should say that they're actually non-residing chargé d'affaires. This was kind of unfamiliar, so we can use also shuttling chargé d'affaires maybe when you're reflecting on your news. Now, when you have chargé d'affaires that are actually shuttling between the two countries, or who are non-residing, this process is going on, and we are making studies, and based on the progress of the activities, we will make notifications and inform you. Now, your first question, it relates to the media world. Well, in Iran also, the media, just like any other part of the world, they're also concerned. We also, on our own part in the Foreign Ministry, we announced that we regret such incidents. Any kind of violation against reporters and the professional job of the media should be rejected, and the conditions should be ripe for reporters' activities, and they should be respected. At the same time, there are some risks and threats that these professionals are facing across the world: extremism and terrorist operations. This has also affected the media and reporters' jobs. So we say that we do regret about such incidents, and we sympathize with reporters. We have also heard about what happened in France, so we hopefully will not see the recurrence of such incidents, and we would see practical measures taken in order to respect the reporter's job, and also measures to be taken to counter terrorist operations and measures that have impacted to other areas. You're welcome. From Shabastan News Agency. Based on the agreements made in Geneva 1 conference, the expert commission was put in place and some meetings took place. Will this Commission have a meeting with the P5+1 group or not? Well, Geneva 1, Geneva 2, you know, these are kind of actually it could be mixed with the Syrian issue. Then there should be your initiative. You should think about something to choose a name so that there should be this misunderstanding could be removed. You should come to an understanding among yourselves so that you could see what term you could specify so that there is no interference. Now, the expert meeting and the P5+1, it was not a meeting that would come to a conclusion or decision. It was actually dealing with the details and the processes regarding various sanctions, banking operations, and some other financial issues. Now, the details and the interpretations and the reports of the experts are conveyed to higher echelons. Thursday and Friday, we will see the main negotiating sides and actually the heads of the negotiating teams. We will see how they will perceive and the expert meetings and various dimensions to it. I can hear you. Is it likely that such a meeting be held again in the next round of talks? I mean, at expert levels? Well, everything depends on the Thursday, Friday meeting, depends on what decisions they make, on the basis of which then we can offer more explanation. We can pass in prejudgments.